Hey guys, Alex here. I was going through some of my past work and I found something that could be interesting for us to talk about. It is one of my client projects called HelloVRP, and I'd like to briefly walk you through what I did and kind of in general show you how I present work to clients. So I'll be using the actual presentation created as a part of my creative process. First of all, what VRP is. It was supposed to be a new platform focused on VR, potentially located all around the world, but first starting in China. With a few physical locations, they wanted to build VR cinemas to play movies, and then also have a mobile app to distribute VR content to end users. I was tasked to design a simple one-page website to promote the company and give a quick intro into what is coming up. The presentation I have created and then pitched to a client included three parts. We had brand and design style, then web design of the front page or the one page, and then a mobile version of the same layout. So let's start with the brand and design style. So the brand itself was kind of being developed in the same time. So I've only used this logo type, which is pretty simple. But for the time when we were doing this website, this was the latest version. The same four colors which were connected to it. So we had the navy blue, we had the gold, and we had silver or light blue maybe. So this is what I used, and I actually found it as a great match for the overall look and feel I wanted to do. For typography, we went for Rubik, which is this maybe slightly technical font, but I would say it's pretty modern and fits the overall topic and the theme of the site really well. Since this wasn't supposed to be just for English-speaking market, I also had to include an alternative font, so in this case Noto Sans, to cover languages such as Chinese. If you take a look at how the typography or text in general is used, I'm combining uppercase for titles or labels and then have lowercase for text body or paragraphs, just using it the standard way. Since I wanted to also make the site a little unique, I wanted to pick, let's say, effect or a detail that I could build the whole site around. So in this case, I got an idea for a 45-degree angle, which is sort of like a unifying thing that I'm using across different parts of the website, and it makes it nicely consistent and maybe stand out in a way. So I'll show you in a minute what I mean by it. So if I take a look at how the 45-degree angle can be used, it's not only about these lines that are kind of tilted, but it can also be used in icons or buttons just to give this a different feel, and then in general just keep consistency across everything on a website, from buttons, icons, even particles, as I call these lines, all together. Now we are getting into the design itself, so starting with a preloader, which is something I wasn't really planning for, but in case I would need to use it, this is how it could look like. So you can see this 45-degree angle, which is crossing the circle, and I don't know, it could spin around or whatever. Once the preloader finishes or the whole site loads up, you get into the cover part, which is the main content area. We have a background video in the back, we have introduction part with a short description and a title, and also call to actions. And then we have something I call floating particles, which is these angled lines all over the place. And this is what I wanted to use to kind of simulate real VR environment where the site is about certain topic, it's about VR, and I wanted to give people the same idea right on the website to simulate or even fake the what they could be eventually experiencing in the cinema. So I wanted to use this thing to give the site a certain feel, and right at the beginning set up this creative direction where, since I have these floating particles around, I can use, I don't know, parallax effect on scroll to have them there all the time, and people get a certain feel from the site, and then they get what it is about right when they are using just the website. This is obviously just the cover part, but if we take a look at the full preview, you can see I'm using the same angled lines in the same direction across the whole site, across all the sections. So it gets a certain design style, which I really like, and I think it established the whole topic really well and speaks for itself what the site is about. If you take a look into each section more in detail, so for example now showing, it includes video previews or trailers of the actual movies being played in the cinema, so you can quickly browse them. And again, if you're scrolling down, you have these particles in the background or foreground, and in the parallax effect, it kind of simulates the VR environment. In a section called Experience, we have a preview of how the physical location will look like, and also a quick description of the setup or gear being used in this location. So a little bit more information about each device in case you are curious and want to learn more about it. And then the whole site is finished up with the footer where there's nothing special, nothing unique, just collecting emails for potential customers or people interested in more information. As you probably noticed, there is also a Get the App button in the top right corner. So if you click it, you get into this overlay, which is inverted and has a white background. And we have a QR code which you can scan and get the mobile app. Or you can also click the App Store buttons in the bottom to get the app. And the app was supposed to include more VR content for people to kind of promote both the physical locations they can get into and also watch something right on their phone if they want to. Each video can also have a detail, so you can play the trailer right on the website and you don't need to leave to go to YouTube. But I'm using this space to again promote the app in the bottom, to get more users to the mobile version of the platform. As I mentioned, this wasn't supposed to be just for English-speaking market, so I wanted to include a preview of how localization could look like. So this is how the whole site, or at least the cover in this case, could look like when you have Chinese language instead of English. The third part of the presentation includes a mobile version, which was part of the task. So in this example, you can see how the cover part could look like. It's pretty much the same, just instead of a background video, I am using an image, and then the components remain the same. So get the app and click on a featured movies. And on the right side, there is how the navigation looks like when you click or tap the hamburger icon. So again, inverted screen. I'm using this idea of overlay, where I always have the inverted color in the background. For each section, again, just instead of having these trailers and thumbnails next to each other, I have them in a stream. And for the VR experience and the section about physical location, this whole slider is just scaled down. It can maybe go even into portrait instead of landscape, but that's just a quick idea I have right now. And again, just showing off how the localization could look like when there will be Chinese language instead of English. That's pretty much it. This is what I have presented to a client in a similar way like I'm talking about it right now, and this is kind of what I do every time when I'm about to promote a visual concept, let's say. So as you saw, this presentation was more about the design, more about the visual side of things instead of UX and showing off wireframes and structure, all of that. So this was more about showing off how the final version could look like. And I use a similar format for other presentation as well, and this is really helpful to talk about your ideas and talk about what you want to build for a client. So hope you guys enjoyed it, and see you next time.